Why Africans love Ibrahim Traoré. Across Africa today, there's a name that keeps showing up on radio shows, in market conversations, in WhatsApp groups, and all over TikTok and Twitter. It's not a footballer. It's not a musician. Not even a celebrity. If you ask young people from Ghana to Kenya, from Nigeria to Senegal, many will say the same thing: that's our guy. But who is he? He is none other but Ibrahim Traoré. Why are people so excited about this soldier from a small West African country? The answer is simple. It's not just about politics. It's about something deeper. You see, Africa has had many leaders. Too many. Old men in suits who make big promises, wave flags, and smile at cameras. But when the cameras are off, many forget the people who put them in power. Roads stay broken. Jobs stay missing. And the youth? They are told to be patient. But patience is running out. Then, like a lightning bolt, a story broke in the news. A young army captain in Burkina Faso had just taken over the government. His name? Ibrahim Traoré. He was just 34. No grey hair. No long speeches. Just military clothes, a steady voice, and a bold promise. We are taking back our country. At first, people didn't know what to think. Was he just another soldier hungry for power? But then the videos started to spread. Traoré walking through villages, meeting with farmers, refusing luxury cars, speaking without fear about foreign powers controlling Africa. And the youth began to listen. They leaned in. They shared his clips. They started calling him the real one. Something rare was happening. In a continent where trust is hard to earn, Traoré wasn't just talked about, he was believed in. And that's how his name began to echo, not just in Burkina Faso, but across the whole of Africa. Before the world knew his name, Ibrahim Traoré was just a regular boy from a small town. He was born in 1988, in a peaceful place called Bondakui, in the Muhun province of western Burkina Faso. No one at the time could have imagined that this quiet boy would one day shake the foundations of African politics. His parents were ordinary. He didn't grow up rich or powerful. He wasn't born into a famous family. He walked dusty roads, played simple games, and studied in local schools. But even as a child, people noticed something about him. He was sharp. He paid attention. He asked questions. And he always wanted to understand how things worked. As he grew older, Traoré left his village and went to the University of Ouagadougou, the capital city's main university. He studied geology, the science of the earth. He could have become a scientist. He could have gotten a job in mining, made good money, and lived quietly. But instead, he chose to become something dangerous. He joined the Burkinabe army. But why? Because Traoré had started to see something that made his heart burn. He saw his country struggling. He saw villages attacked by terrorists. He saw people running, hiding, crying. And he saw that many of those in power were doing nothing. Traoré believed a real leader must act, not just talk. He trained hard. He became an officer. He joined elite forces and served in difficult regions. His fellow soldiers respected him. He didn't shout or brag. But when it was time to move, he moved. He watched. He waited. And slowly, he made a choice. If no one else would protect the people, then he would. And just like that, the quiet boy from Bondakui began his journey, not just as a soldier, but as the man who would change everything. During this time, Burkina Faso was in pain. Year after year, terrorists attacked villages, burned homes, and killed innocent people. Families were forced to flee. Schools were closed. Markets were empty. The fear was everywhere. People cried for help. They begged the government to protect them. But nothing changed. The leaders in charge, wearing suits, holding meetings, talked and talked. They made promises. They blamed others. But the attacks kept coming. More people died. More villages vanished. And somewhere deep in the army, a young captain was watching all of this. His name was Ibrahim Traoré. He wasn't a general. He wasn't a minister. He didn't have millions in his bank account. But he had something else, a heart full of fire. In September 2022, something big happened. Traoré made a bold move. With a small group of loyal soldiers, he marched into the capital city. Within hours, he took control. The man who was in power, Paul-Henri Damiba, was removed in a coup d'état. The world was shocked. Even people in Burkina Faso didn't see it coming. How could a young captain, barely in his mid-30s, take over an entire country? But when Traoré spoke, it became clear. He said, "We cannot continue like this. The people are suffering. We are soldiers. Our duty is to protect. If the leaders won't do it, we will." There were no fancy words. No big political slogans. Just truth. Some were afraid. Others were angry. But the youth cheered. They saw something in Traoré's eyes. Courage, not greed. Action, not excuses. In a time when many leaders were hiding behind desks, Traoré had stepped into the storm. And in doing so, he lit a spark that would spread across all of Africa. After the coup, many people held their breath. Was Ibrahim Traoré just another soldier chasing power? Was this going to be the same old story, one strong man replacing another, while the people stayed poor and afraid? But then, something different started happening. Traoré refused to live in the presidential palace. He didn't show off new suits or gold watches. He didn't surround himself with rich businessmen. Instead, he put on his military uniform and went to the people. He visited the north, where the fighting was worst. He sat on plastic chairs with villagers. He listened to their fears. He promised change, not from behind a desk, but on the ground, face to face. And slowly, the youth began to see something rare. He didn't speak like a politician. He spoke like one of them. He said what many young Africans were already thinking. If foreign powers are not here to help us, they are here to control us. We must rely on ourselves. Africa must stand on its own feet. Then came his biggest move. He cut military ties with France, the former colonial ruler of Burkina Faso. He told foreign troops to leave. He said the country would decide its own future now. That move sent shockwaves across Africa. Many African leaders wouldn't dare say those things. But Traoré did. And he didn't stop there. He also started working with Russia, and some say Wagner Group. Controversial, yes, but also seen by many as a way to break from Western control. For many African youth, this wasn't just politics. It was rebellion. It was pride. It was a leader finally saying what others only whispered. Soon, TikTok and Instagram filled with videos of him. Walking with soldiers. Laughing with kids. Saluting the flag. To many, he wasn't acting like a president. He was acting like a servant. A protector. A brother. That's when something incredible happened. His face started appearing on murals, posters, T-shirts, and phone cases, not just in Burkina Faso, but across Africa. He was drawn as a warrior, a lion, a torch in the darkness. Young Africans began comparing him to Thomas Sankara, the revolutionary icon who once led Burkina Faso in the 1980s. Sankara had also been young, bold, and ready to fight corruption. Many believe he was killed because of it. Now, decades later, another young soldier was rising. But the world had changed. And this time, the youth were ready to defend their new hero, with voices, with phones, with unity. They started saying, "He is not just our president. He is our courage." Across Mali, Niger, and even Sudan, protesters held up Traoré's photo like a shield. They called for their own leaders to follow his example, or step down. Traoré became a code word for resistance. In just months, he went from being a little-known captain to a living symbol of Africa's fight to rise again. But deep down, everyone knew, symbols are powerful, but also dangerous. Would he survive what comes next? Enemies are gathering, some in secret, some in plain sight. There are foreign governments who feel threatened. There are powerful businessmen who feel exposed. There are leaders in other African nations who fear their own people might rise up next. And there are whispers. Traoré will be removed. They won't let him last. It's only a matter of time. But the young captain seems unfazed. He knows the risks. He knows that heroes like Thomas Sankara were killed for less. He knows the path he walks is dangerous. But still, he walks it. His speeches have become more fiery. His actions more radical. He has called for unity among African countries, for breaking the chains of colonization, for building a continent that no longer bows. Some call him brave. Others call him reckless. But here's the truth. Traoré has already changed something deep inside the youth of Africa. Even if he falls, his message will live on. Even if he's silenced, the fire he lit will burn in thousands of others. But what if he survives? What if he finishes what he started? What if Ibrahim Traoré becomes the first in a long line of fearless African leaders, chosen not by wealth, not by family, not by foreign approval, but by the people? That's the question burning in the hearts of millions right now. Africa is watching. And the story of Ibrahim Traoré is far from over. Do you think Traoré will accomplish his mission?